What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Shift change. I know that last week's episode was a dud. The content was really good, but the audio apparently blew, and which it did. I listened, and I think I've got it narrowed down to what the culprit is. I think it was the first full show I recorded on the laptop. And after doing some investigation, I thought it was the cords, and then I thought it was this, and then I thought it was that, and then I tried it on my phone, and guess what? Loud and clear. So I'm working through it. It's not necessary. It's a workaround, which is I kind of feel like I spent my whole life figuring out workarounds to things, but not really finding the answer to things, but ways to make things work. And maybe that's the point. I don't know. Maybe there's no answer. Maybe everything is a workaround. I have no idea. But regardless, so let's go back to last week just a little bit. We opened up the can of mental health, mental well-being. I didn't use the word mental illness because I don't know shit about that. I'm talking about like disorders that actually interrupt daily life and how you live it. I don't know anything about that. I do know about the way we get to be in our job sometimes, which is we don't really know how we feel about certain things, and so we opened it up. We talked about it. We and how that projects a little bit at our family and with our friends and relationships and how we do things. And I thought it was really good, but nobody could hear it for shit's sake. So before that, I went and talked to my friend Dustin. And got his story, and none of it, you couldn't hear a lick of it. So that was a dud. And so I'm going back on Monday, which is today, that when you hear this. And we're going to redo it. We're going to try to duplicate the same rawness and the same emotion and the same joy and the same, basically just the feeling of talking about things that people aren't interested in talking about. But everybody's really interested in hearing about, so we're going to do it again. And I think, so stay tuned for that one. Today is, I'm totally no show notes. This is what we call, I think in the rap business, freelancing. I'm making shit up today, but it's all about school's out and what that means for us in public safety. Let's go back one to the mental illness one, or the mental health one, the mental well-being. I want to get this out there to everybody because this was a profound concept that I came across probably a year ago when I look back at why I would lose my shit for no reason and what that meant. And I don't remember what the guy screenshotted it out of a book. I don't remember what book. I can find out, but it's if you haven't heard me say this, I want you to take home from last week anything. And this has to do with us men and how we handle our emotions. It says that, whether it's true or not, whether you believe it or not is irrelevant. But I want you to think about it. It says 90% of male rage is helplessness masquerading as frustration. So what does that mean? If I look back at all the times I lost my shit because I felt like I was frustrated, I think that if you boiled it down, I was helpless, meaning I was in over my head. Something was happening that I could not control. Whether that meant my kid was crying a lot, or I couldn't figure out what they wanted, or I couldn't provide what I wanted for them. Or the point is that there was I couldn't fix what was wrong, and that's a helpless feeling. And so it boiled up to frustration to I lost my shit. Okay. That's not a free pass, but it is an interesting thing that I didn't realize. And I can go back 18 years, and the example I gave you about the breaking the cabinet glass, that was pure. I remember that moment vividly. I was helpless in that moment. Didn't realize it at the time, but it came out as frustration because I couldn't figure it out. And I think if you spend a lot of time at ball fields, like pick out the dad that's losing his shit, at an umpire or at a coach or or whatever, and see what kind of situation he's in. Is his kid out there pitching and just can't get it across the plate? And is he projecting his frustration because he's helpless, because he can't help his kid right now? Is his kid 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts and is about to go 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts and is just berating and acting out a fool as a grown-ass 40-year-old man? I want you to look at it and say, hey, maybe this guy's clearly frustrated, but is he at in the moment also feeling helpless because he can't help his kid, he can't fix his kid, he wants his kid to get a hit, his kid it can't catch a break. How is he projecting that emotion towards? And I think that was the big take home for all that hour. I talk shit about sometimes how I get anxious and whatever. Well, we can revisit it all. That shit never goes away. Point of that all last week. If you didn't get to listen, that right there. This week, school's out. What does that mean for us people in public safety and shift work and healthcare? Because what we all have in common is we have what we all really love about our jobs, amongst the satisfaction of helping people, is the freedom of our schedule, meaning that I have Tuesday morning off at 9 o'clock and I can do whatever the goddamn I please. I can go to the grocery store and there's nobody there. I can see my kids' junior high softball game without taking off work. I can go to the pool if I wanted to at 1 in the afternoon in July, right? Like, we enjoy that thing about our job. There's not a lot of traffic when we go on shift or when we come off shift. Like, we have a lot of freedom. And then even more so if you have children, when they go to school, the first day of school, and how goddamn glorious that is when, if depending, this isn't to say I don't love my kids, but they're gone all day. I can do whatever I want. I can sleep if I've had a rough shift. I can do all kinds of tasks around the house uninterrupted. And I can see them all to completion. I don't really feel like I have to meet the needs of anybody. And this all makes it sound like, Jesus, you're a selfish prick. That's not true. One of the joys in my life is I'm very task oriented. So I like to look at something and go, oh, this looks like shit. I can fix that. And I will go ahead and do the things to do it. But what I don't like is getting interrupted when I do it. That doesn't mean that if you can't like summon me. It just means that I treat everything, and I think this is a byproduct of my job, is I treat everything as an emergency. Meaning I'm trying to do everything as quickly as I can and as efficiently as I can so I can move on to the next thing. And it translates home. Like, I mowed the yard yesterday just as fast as I could because I had a small window of opportunity to do it. Now, I was home with a 7-year-old, but we negotiated. And I said, hey, listen, I got some time to get this yard mowed real quick because I don't want to do it this weekend because we're all balled up in softball, baseball. Do you mind if I get this done right now? It'd take me 20 minutes. She's like, yeah, go ahead. Right? But I zoomed through it because in that 20, 30 minutes, there was going to be something that was going to happen to her, that she was going to come out and be like, hey man, I need some help, which is totally fine. But it slows me down to the point and I got to stop doing what I'm doing. And then you see what I'm saying? The cascade of events after that. Personality flaws, totally understand it. I'm not advocating that to live this way because it's exhausting. Like, I am constantly moving all the time. Like, there's always, like, I will say, hey, I'm going to work out. So let's go to the beginning. How like my evolution of kids and my job and how I got to I am today, and you use it as a blueprint or use it as a blueprint on what not to do. I don't give a shit, but I've made a lot of mistakes. But at the same time, I've also had to be very mobile and fluid, which is two things I'm not. Meaning, I am very rigid. I get up every morning with a certain amount of things that I'm going to accomplish today. And if there's a deadline, let's say like today, we have to leave the house at 1:30, 2:30. Everybody's got ball games. Last night, all 4 of my kids played softball, baseball in 4 different locations. Okay. We had deadlines. I had to get a certain amount of shit done by a certain amount of time. And so I wake up every morning with the intent to complete those tasks. If I do not, if something changes those tasks for whatever reason, my brain goes, listen, man, you're doomed. Like, you are effed. This ain't going to happen. You ain't going to get shit done. And then I say, oh, really? Watch this. And so I am constantly just in perpetuity running circles around my house, basically, because my brain loves open spaces. My brain loves tidiness. My brain loves clean. My brain loves everything has to be squared off and inside a border. I am very OCD, understood. Not telling me anything I don't know. That's how my brain works. My brain loves to wake up in the morning and walk out into my living room and find everything's picked up and everything's clean and I can sit down. My brain loves to sit down at night and relax, if it's possible, and watch some college softball World Series with everything picked up, with everything clean, with everything squared away, with no tasks in the queue. But with 4 kids, man, how realistic is that? Not. But I will try to accomplish it to exhaustion. Okay. Now, this time of year, we're all balled up. Like we're basically spending from 4p to 10p at ball fields every night of the week. So we have to adjust. That's the whole point of this conversation, is how to adjust when we're so used to having our days off from school. If you have school-age children or daycare-age children, or you're an empty nester, I don't know. How we adapt and adjust to that. And so early in my career, when so my oldest is going to be 18 this year, and so I've been 21 years in EMS, and I'm pretty sure she was conceived on 3 days of no sleep. I'm almost certain. I married a woman who very much knew that she wanted to bear children, and that was going to be her gift to the world, was as many kids as she could make. So I have 4 children, all with the same woman, all on purpose. Only one contested. Not who. I only contested one, meaning like I was like, I don't think that you should have another one. Lost. Sure, I get it. They're all wonderful kids. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, but at my age, I feel it's appropriate to say all with the same woman. All on purpose, because when you get to be my age and you have a bunch of kids, everybody just assumes that you've been married a couple times. Nothing wrong with that. Have all the kids you want. Don't give a shit. So I had 4. And so with that comes a lot of trade-offs, a lot of sacrifices. We knowingly, like, nobody's bitter about this. Like, we don't have a boat, we don't have a lake house, we don't have we don't, whatever, we don't give a shit. Our focus was on raising kids, and my wife very much knew that she wanted to just have a pile of kids. And so that in itself was reason to have a bunch of kids. I tried to argue a lot about why we shouldn't have a pile of kids, and it doesn't matter. What loses out in the end is the biological need for a woman to bear children, and that won. Okay, I got you. So through the years, and so how do you do that when you're up all night? You're doing 24/48s. You're maybe working the night shift, and daycare costs are shit. And we did get lucky. We had several in-home daycares that were usually part-time daycares that we. What we would do is we would have obviously. So my wife's a teacher, and summers off, vacations, school, Christmas, spring break, all that kind of shit. So we got lucky there. We would usually go to daycare, so on my shift day, and then either for half the day the next day or the full day, and then on my second day off I was daycare, which I've come to find out is not true. I was just a dad. I was not daddy daycare. I was just a dad. I stayed home with my kid, and over the last 18 years, I've been very grateful that I've had that opportunity to spend a lot of time with my children. Although not all of it was grand. A lot of it was work. A lot of it was frustration. A lot of it was hurt feelings. A lot of it was my misconception of what it was supposed to look like my expectations. I have super high standards, and they rarely get met. by anybody in this house, but in my inability to concede to that a little bit has caused, some friction, and I totally aware, totally accept it, totally take it. I get it. But anyway, so let's take the first day off. I've been up all night on the 24, and I got to go get my kid from daycare at noon. So I have a deadline now. So I have to choose what to do with that time. From 7 a.m. do I get off if I'm lucky and I get a late call, and then to noon. So do I cash in some sleep? Do I cash in a workout? Do I cash in some errands that I don't have to carry around a toddler with me? Do I cash in a project around the house? Do I use that time to mow? Do I use that time to do whatever? Forward thinking into the day, like, do I cash in the afternoon nap for the child on any one of those things? And then presumably when your spouse gets home after work, if they have a real job, then you've got an extra set of hands, and now you're capable of doing more things. And you would think that sounds like a reasonable plan, but it never works out that way. They decide not to nap that day, or maybe they come down with a viral illness, or you have to pivot and adapt. And I was just terrible at it. I had moments when things worked out, and then you add a second child, which we did, and then so that really I thought was the same amount of work, just a second kid, and so now it's just a little harder, a little more difficult to go uptown and get some groceries, or if they didn't nap on the same schedule, get the yard mowed or grab a workout or whatever, and then obviously if one was sick, then usually the other one got sick, so now you got two, and that was difficult, I think, early on, because I was trying to find my way as a provider and a husband and things, and still trying to manage children. But textbook said I only got two, so I mean this is reasonably doable. And then as they progress in age, and then they get less needy and they get more independent and they can do more things, and then which theoretically means that you have to do less things, which I don't think was true at all, but whatever. Well, let's talk about the third kid. The third kid comes along, and you're like, holy shit, in my opinion. I'm not saying that my wife will roll her eyes on this deal, because I really believe this. Like, men are not maternal creatures. Like, we are doers of things, right? I don't know how to put it, but like, managing children was not in my wheelhouse. I did not do it well. Sometimes I still don't do it well. But anyway, enter the third child. The work exponentiated. It was like, I thought, okay, I got a pretty good routine down with two kids. Now I got a third kid, and holy shit. And she was younger, so now we started everything back over again. And I was kind of getting in my groove with the older kids, but then the younger kid came around, and I was like, oh shit, I don't really know what I'm doing. Still don't know what I'm doing. And then the daycare changes needs, so the older kids were in school all day long, which was amazing. But now I had a kid that was only in school half days. Or now I had a kid that was back in the daycare thing part-time, and I was, the caregiver, and I had to adjust to, just when you think you're going to get time to go fishing more, man, all of a sudden, bam, kid number 3, and then you got to figure out your life again. Okay. Which is manageable. Like, that's the point of being a parent, is the sacrifice. So what do we have to sacrifice? Well, we had to redo some things. We had to figure out, and I was working 2 jobs at the time very consistently. So I was always tired. I was always gone. I was always feeling like I was under some sort of pressure. And then you have to go back to, oh, hey, she's got this thing at school today, so can you go? And I'm like, well, I guess I haven't slept in 2 days, but this ought to be fun. Sure. And you spend, half a day in the preschool classroom at the Halloween party on no sleep. And then your reward is you get to take your kid home on no sleep. And then, okay, so, but we're figuring it out. We're doing it. And then kid number 4. And you're like, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? I am now 10 years older, 15 years older, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting a pretty good grasp on how to handle my responsibilities at home and provide and doing the things that are productive and then all of a sudden, okay, sure, 4. All right, let's do it. All right, this ought to be fun. But you had, but there's something that says, listen, if you're able to reflect and go back, which I think is a huge part of like just being better at life. You look back and you say, all right, here's where I screwed it up. I think here's where I made some mistakes. I still think this way. Like I am still very task oriented. I am still going to get everything done in a day. I am still going to focus at the end of the day on the things that I didn't get done versus the things that I did get done. And most of that comes as a trade-off as time with your kid. Okay. So if I had to regret any of this in the last 18 years, it's probably the time I spent saying, hey, listen, if you can just sit here for 15 or 20 minutes, I can get this done. Versus me saying, hey, what do you want to do for the next 15 or 20 minutes? I got nothing going on. You want to do something? You want to do something cool? And then after we do something cool, because what I would do is then if they were still sitting there and not bothering me or interrupting me, then I would try to sneak in some other task. And then before you know it, you're like, oh, hey, look, it's lunchtime, nap time. So if I had to spin anything back, I probably would have cut more off that need, that sense of completion of those tasks, and more on just hanging out with your kid. I think that because I got to spend so much time around my children, that I kind of feel that made up for it. I mean, because I'm in the house, they're in the house. Isn't that time together? Not really. I spent a lot of that time, traded a lot of that time just to get shit done. So that when, it did come time to do those events like dance and ball and the weekend showed up and I didn't have anything to do. Like all my work was done for those things. And I think if I had to look back, I probably would have made that time better. It's not regrettable to the point where I really like, I'm going to be on my deathbed going, negotiating with Jesus about just give me a little more time. But I think if I had to like just clean up how I handled it, that's probably what I would have done. And even right now, I'm down here trying to put this content out before my kids wake up, right? So that I'm not interrupted, so I can complete this task and move on, and then get it all set and ready to go and publish it before somebody comes downstairs and says, hey, can you make me breakfast? Which shouldn't annoy me at all. I'll be right there. So anyway, in comes kid number 4, and if you don't think that doesn't change things, but I got a better grasp on stuff. I think that I'm doing better in life. I think I have a better understanding of maybe who I am and how I tick. And then she comes along and just totally f's that up. Like I have zero. What I thought was how I was and what was right was I was off. Like she totally changed how I view things, because now I kind of want to do more of those sentimental things, spend more time, do those things. I have less to do, but I think it's probably because I busted my ass for the first, 13 years of having kids, to the point where now I got a pretty good thing going. But I've also changed jobs. I'm working less. I'm more present at home. But it still comes with trade-off. Like you have to decide especially when you're young, you have to decide if you're going to trade sleep for money. And what that means is, you can send your kid to daycare, sure, and get some sleep, but over time that costs you a lot of money. Or are we trading our sleep? I'm gonna save on daycare, but I'm gonna trade that for some sleep. But that still accrues. Like your sleep deprivation still accrues. So there's really no easy way. The point is, I'm saying there's really no easy way. You have to find that way, and it takes a long time. It took me 3 kids, I think, in a couple jobs to figure out what the right thing was. And in the meantime, in the interim, it was just a gut check. Like you have to trade off. I'm going to trade a day of sleep or some recovery so that my kid doesn't have to go to daycare. And I would like to say so I can spend more time with my child, but it was because so my kid didn't have to go to daycare and I could save some money that way. And sometimes it's just a gut check. You have to take the day hour by hour. You are not looking I know that all of us look at the clock at 9 in the morning and go, God damn, I can't wait for bedtime because I'm going to sleep so good. But in the meantime, I got a lot of work to do, and it's not going to be pretty. But that's how you get through those, is you just have to take it. Okay, it's nap time at 9 o'clock. That'll buy me some time. Okay, it's lunchtime. Okay, we've gotten to lunchtime. Okay, if your kid's young enough to take 2 naps, which those days were glorious. Okay, we're at nap number 2. I can catch up with, and then you're okay. Now my spouse is home, so now I have some help, or I have reinforcements against all these children, and now, oh look, it's 7 o'clock. The kids are winding down. I should be winding down too, and then bam, it's bedtime. We made it through another day. I don't ever want to wish time away because it's precious, but there are those days where I look ahead to. Okay, I think I got today pretty much nipped in the bud as far as the plan goes, and then tomorrow, I can be real efficient with tomorrow if I just kind of plan some of that out today. Well, that's a trade-off too. You are wishing time away, and if your brain like mine feeds on efficiency and feeds on task completion, then that's just the trade-off. If you're one of those people that can really sit in the moment and enjoy the moment, which I can for about 3 seconds. Then I think that lends itself to more of a pliable, mobile schedule. Because you can adjust, I think, better than people like me who are nope, it's 9 o'clock. I'm supposed to do this at 9 o'clock, and I better get it done. Enter Kid 4, I had a gym membership. So one of the trade-offs was to save money. I built my own gym. And then I wasn't pigeonholed into, a 9 o'clock gym session. And I did that before it was cool to have your home gym, before the government said, hey, listen, we're going to shut down all the places to make you healthy so that you are less susceptible to viral infections. Weird. And so I was doing that before it was cool. That wasn't a byproduct of some sort of terrible government advice. It was out of necessity because I now have 4 children and still have a very good schedule. I'm still very wide open as far as my days go, but that would pigeonhole me to a certain point of time during the day where I could work out, and it just didn't work out. She pardon the pun, she was napping at that time, and I was not going to trade that for me. So we just had to make some concessions. And now basically, like, I have older kids now that can drive, and I have 2 younger kids, and I have 4 of them. Here's the good example. 4 of them played ball last night. I had to pick one or pick 2. Not going to see everybody play. You can't invest so much time in one kid and then not enough time in the other 3 because it just doesn't work out that way. So Monday night, I'll have 2 at home playing an idiom and 2 playing away. I'm not going to see them all. I'm going to stick to I have 2 at home. So I'm going to stay there. We rely very heavily on our community to help get our kids from to and from, and I don't mean that as a burden to them. I mean they're very willing to put my youngest in their car and take him to their game, and she is very okay with me not being there, and she's okay with her mother not being there, and all of my kids have learned and have grown up to be that, you know what, mom and dad aren't always going to be around. We're not always going to be. We want to be. Can't do it. It's physically impossible. So you need to learn how to perform. You need to learn how to perform for you. Not for me, not for your mom, but for you. Learn how to go get it for yourself. And I think that is a pretty big lesson too. As much as we would love to be there for them all, we just can't be. And it's worked out. The point of it is just like Nike's really got the coin on it. Just do it. Like you just gotta do the day and take it how it comes. And as much as I try to control those days, and as much as I get kind of bitchy when my day doesn't go how I think it should, like the perception I have of how my day is going to go in my brain, if it doesn't work out that way, I get bitchy. I'm trying to not to be, But it goes back to that overwhelming thing where I had put so much on my day to get it all done that if I need to get it all done, I am very driven to get it all done, and it is very overwhelming sometimes the expectations and my standards and my goals that I put on myself. That when I don't accomplish it, to me it feels like failure, and I know it's not, but you can't convince me of it. That's the problem. So working through that. But anyway, that's it in a nutshell, right? Like just be fluid, be very flexible with how your day's going to go as we age in this job and our children age. You kind of pick up some wins, right? Like once they go from daycare part time to maybe preschool part time to now school full time. Take advantage of that time. Like, man, August through May I love it. And then, August is my favorite time. Not that I don't love my children, but I also love it when my house is clean and quiet and I can go through life unencumbered. May is an adjustment. Like we're already a week into this season, summer, and I've had to adjust. And it comes up quick, man. Time flies. There's an old saying that says the days are long, but the years fly by, and that is so true. My oldest is going to be a senior. I spent a lot of time in her life wishing for more production from me, meaning that I needed to be less confined to kid stuff, and it's all a waste. Like, don't do it. Like, just be in the moment with your kid. Enjoy. They need to pick up their shit, right? Like they need to learn how to pick up their own shit. I do not enjoy. There's all these kind of memes in Instagram that says, "Oh, this will be the last time you wash your uniform and the last time." I get it. I'm saying, but I hope it's the last time that she leaves. That she leaves her shit laying around. I'll wash your uniform all day, man, and I'll keep those little handprints on my window. For a long time because I think they're cool, and a little bit of part of me feels bad if I erase them and then something bad happens to my kid and I'll be like, shit, I just took her handprints off my window, which is a different conversation. The point being, it's okay to have standards. It's okay to hold your kids to those standards. It's okay to maybe we get slightly annoyed when those standards don't get met, but the big picture is it's not up to them to change their routine. It's up to us to change ours. So my routine of school day routine is now summer routine, and it's way different. It looks way different. I have to get it is what it is. But in order to get what I want to get done and be the person that I want to be for them, I have to concede a lot of things in the summertime. One of those is I don't know what else I would do if I wasn't at a ballpark. And I don't know that I'd be interested in doing much more. The worst thing that can happen to us in the summers are rain out. Because then we're all home and we're all sitting together staring at each other going, I don't know, what do you want to do? I don't know, what do you want to do? Because we're so used to going. We're so used to being somewhere. We're so used to having some sort of direction and task and deadline that when those things get derailed, I have no idea what to do with my hands. I'm just sitting around. Rain outs suck. I know we need rain. We don't need any more, but you know what I mean. So here's the deal. Just be pliable. Just be flexible. Just go with the flow. There are different stages of, I don't know how people that work chronic night shifts do kids at home all summer. I had a friend of mine growing up whose dad worked nights in a factory, and we were dicks. But we were constantly getting, yelled at to be quiet. But he had a basketball court in his yard, and I was just trying to figure it out. How do you think that guy did it? And I never asked because I didn't know that I would care. But can you imagine working chronic night shifts and then having a bunch of preteen or teen kids at your house every day? I don't know what they did back then to get some sleep, but God bless him. He's no longer with us, but he was a good dude. So it just makes you wonder. The point is we have to change our tactics sometimes. So we're going to have to trade it off. There's going to be more time, less sleep, I think, in the summer, or more kids, less task completion or sense of completion. And then if you can get through till fall, those kids go back to school. Well, now here you go. Drink coffee for sport in the morning and get your shit done to the point of boredom. And then these days of chaos and mass chaos and schedule changing and running from here to there don't seem so bad. And savor those moments and don't take them for granted. All right, that's it. Hey, listen. Before I go, this whole trying to produce content thing every week is a real thing. Like it's stressful as shit. So listen, if there's something you want to hear about, whether I know anything about it or not, if I don't, I'll try to figure it out. And if there's something that you guys want me to touch on or hear about, just tell me. Like email me, text me. I don't give a shit. Like these guest episodes do really good. I don't know that these ones where you sit, listen to me talk shit are doing as well, but I wouldn't expect them to. Like I like to talk to people about their stuff too, so I would listen, no doubt, to somebody else's story. I think it's great. So if there's something you want to hear about, there's a couple guests I'm working on. But if there's a topic you want me to talk shit about, just let me know through the email or through the Instagram page, and we'll go from there. That's it for this week. Thanks for humoring me. Work hard. Be kind. Bye. Hey guys, thanks again for listening to another episode of the Shift Change Podcast. I need to ask if you would leave a rating. I think that it helps people who are new to the podcast find it quicker. It doesn't do me any good, but it does help other people that are looking for the Shift Change Podcast on Spotify or Apple. It just comes up quicker the more ratings that you give it. I don't, whether you give it a 2 or a 5, it doesn't make a difference. It just helps other people. If you need to get a hold of me, contact me via my email, the show email, which is talkshiftchange@gmail.com. Or you can message me on Instagram at talk.shiftchange. Excuse me, at talk.shiftchange on Instagram. As always, thanks for listening. I could not have imagined how well this podcast has been received. So, as always, I appreciate it. Work hard, be kind.